I had a interesting experience years ago. Um, I had a roommate at the time, and we got along reasonably well. But every couple weeks, something would happen that threw me off. I would get up in the morning, and I would go to make my coffee, and I'd open the fridge, and there wouldn't be any milk, and I would get furious. And I think my damn roommate. And how could he drink the rest of the coffee and not replace it, and or rest of the milk? And this drove me nuts. And I always tried to have enough milk in the apartment, but every now and then, sure enough, he'd get up earlier than me, and he'd get to the milk first, and he'd finish it, and he wouldn't replace it. And I hated having my coffee without milk, so it would make me really, really angry. And time passed, and a number of months later, I got up and I went to have my coffee, and sure enough, I opened the fridge and I said, "My damn roommate, like, there's no milk again." And then I realized I didn't have a roommate anymore. I had finally moved and had my own place, and I got up one morning and I went to have my coffee, and there was no milk. And I realized that the roommate to be angry at was myself. And once I got over my reaction, I really found this very amusing, and and I learned a lot from this experience. The first thing I learned was that obviously it wasn't my roommate anymore. Certainly, I was my roommate. I was the roommate that was misbehaving. Um, it also pointed out how strong the reaction was, and even though the sort of point of my reaction wasn't there anymore, the reaction was still alive and well. And it was a beautiful example for me of learning that a lot of times we internalize these reactions, and the reaction can outlive any situation for a long time. And it also, for me, kind of opened the door for taking more responsibility for my surroundings, uh, and my reactions. Certainly, I wanted to make sure that in the future I wouldn't find myself in a position where there wasn't any milk for my coffee. But also, I think from that point forward, when I had strong reactions to things, I started getting curious about, okay, how much of the reaction is something that I've just internalized from the past, and how much of it is actually a response to what's going on. And that's a really interesting topic unto itself. It's like, what's the difference between reacting to something and responding to something? um, you know and we all have reactions from time to time. Like, you get angry suddenly, but if you catch the reaction, can you let it go and then get into a place of just responding, and sort of assessing what's best in this situation right now? um, well, I've done a pretty good job of keeping my milk stocked. And in terms of reacting to things, reactions come and go, but I certainly notice when there's a overtly strong reaction uh, that occurs on more than a regular basis, then for me, it's an opportunity to do some work and to settle down and perhaps do some meditation on it, and see if I can begin to separate out the reaction from what's actually happening in the situation.